Okay, so I'm going to explain this thing rather bluntly and in a manner that doesn't make it sound like I'm complaining about other people complaining about me. All right, so you see I'm welding under this baler. There's a reason for that. The bale chamber is not broken. The little plates that hold the springs that put the plunger dogs up into the bale chamber, the backing plates that hold those springs, two of them broke off the last time we ran the baler. Now, the reason I say the last time we ran the baler, not the time before that, was because we've only used this thing twice this year. Once the day that this thing broke, and once just yesterday and the day before, a couple of days ago. So before I went to the field with it the first time, everything was gone over. It was cleaned up, obviously. Before we even put it away, we blow it off. We try not to pressure wash everything, because if you pressure wash something just before you put it away, you will actually blow water into bearings, through seals and into bearings, and during the course of the winter, things freeze and pull seals away, things rust because they just rust, and it causes internal damage, which leads to failure later on in the year. So, for the most part, if you're going to pressure wash your baler or your tractors or your combines and things, just make sure you have a little bit of time to go before, a couple of days in the field to actually work that water back out of those seals and bearings and things, so that you don't have these problems. Or grease them after you're done, which most people don't. They'll pressure wash it, put it away, and that's it, and they grease it in the spring. Well, I try not to pressure wash everything, not because I'm a dirty guy or anything, just because I don't like fixing bearings after they've rusted out. Bearing balls get rust on them, they fail rather quickly. So that's the explanation for that. I don't need to wax my equipment to make it run better, last longer, or anything like that. Unless I'm going to sell the thing, then I'll wash her up nice, wax it down, and boom, out the door it goes. I get top dollar because it's just a nice looking machine. So anyway, these parts had broken while Timothy was running the baler, and what it did was it caused the hay to come back into the path of the needles. Now, if you don't know anything about needles on a baler, any baler, they do not pass through the hay. They pass through the plunger while the plunger is compressing the hay up against the bale. Now, if there's hay in the path of the needle as the plunger is coming forward, and yes, they do start to enter the bale chamber just as the plunger is coming through, but if there's hay there, it's going to grab those needles and break the tips off. I've had this happen before, and it just, not on this baler, but the 315 baler, it is what it is. Things break. They wouldn't sell parts or stock parts at the New Holland dealer if these things never broke. So there you go. So anyways, I did spot the problem before I even bought the new needles and the new yoke and whatever else it was I bought. It wasn't much. It was just the new needles and the new yoke. That was it. Just normal maintenance stuff. I welded it up, got the new hay dogs or plunger dogs back in place with new springs and new pins and the new backings that I welded on there. And life is good. Carl was over there greasing the front end of the tractor, which is, a normal thing. I use my G-Gun by Lock and Load, which has been a godsend. It just is so much more efficient to use that G-Gun than it is to use the little tubes of grease. It's cheaper, and it's, it just doesn't take nearly as long to do the job that we need to do. So me, Therese, and Carl are putting this tire back on there. We realized that there's not 6 lug holes on this hub. There's actually 12. And when I put it on, I got it lined up. I'm like, why the hell are there cobwebs in the middle of this thing? That doesn't make any sense. And of course, we pulled it back off and realized it was a 12 hub thing. So now you get to watch me run the machine. Thanks again.
get this wagon full, but that's
Say what?
not here to just look pretty.